Have you ever stopped to consider where your everyday items come from and the conditions under which they were made? Many of us ponder the ethical implications of our purchases today, questioning the sourcing and labor practices behind our food and clothing. But did you know that this idea of conscious consumerism has deep historical roots, stretching back to a time when people faced a monumental moral challenge against injustice? The free produce movement was a 19th century effort by abolitionists, primarily in Great Britain and the United States, whose main purpose was to boycott goods produced by enslaved labor. They aimed to weaken the economic foundation of slavery by refusing to purchase products like sugar, cotton, and tobacco that were often cultivated through forced labor. It was a direct attempt to exert moral and economic pressure on the institution of slavery. This movement was rooted in a profound moral conviction, particularly among Quakers, who believed that participating in the consumption of slave-made goods made one complicit in the institution of slavery itself. For these activists, money spent on slave products directly supported the enslavement of people, making them unwilling partners in an unjust system. They sought to create a clear separation between free labor and forced labor, thereby appealing to the consciences of consumers and pressuring producers to adopt more ethical practices. This emphasis on individual moral responsibility was a powerful, if sometimes challenging, aspect of their campaign. To achieve their goal, proponents of the free produce movement actively promoted and identified goods that were known to be free from slave labor. This involved establishing dedicated free produce stores, creating special labels to certify products, and publishing directories and pamphlets that guided consumers toward ethically sourced items. They encouraged householders to seek out alternatives for common staples like sugar, coffee, and textiles, even if those alternatives were sometimes more expensive or harder to find. It was a practical, albeit difficult, application of their moral principles to daily life. One interesting aspect was the intense focus on specific goods. For example, they advocated for beet sugar over cane sugar, as cane sugar was almost exclusively produced by enslaved people in the Caribbean and American South. The movement also inspired the creation of free labor cotton mills, like the one established in Philadelphia, which sought to prove that cotton could be profitably cultivated and processed without forced labor. These initiatives, while limited in their economic reach, powerfully articulated the moral case for economic resistance against slavery. Ultimately, the free produce movement highlighted the significant power of consumer choice as a tool for social change. It demonstrated an early form of ethical consumption, connecting personal purchasing decisions to broader human rights issues, and laying conceptual groundwork for future boycotts and fair trade initiatives. This sustained effort, fueled by moral conviction, served as a crucial, nonviolent front in the larger struggle for emancipation and human dignity.